Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And yeah, I wish that all of you are still awake to see this video. Special greetings to our doctor, Dr. Shahida, and also my fellow friends. So for group 4, I am Farhad, and I will be hosting this presentation. But as well as this presentation goes on, you will see all of my group members presenting about Bank Muamalat Indonesia. So, regarding the Islamic banking in Indonesia, do you know that actually Islamic banking in Indonesia has started 9 years later than Malaysia? Do you know that the first Islamic banking is named Bank Muamalat Indonesia? And yeah, wait, don't you ever confuse between Bank Muamalat Indonesia and Bank Muamalat Malaysia because both banks are different. Yes. And even though Islamic banking in Indonesia was almost a decade later than Malaysia, but it succeeded between 2007 to 2011 to record Islamic banking asset growth larger than Malaysia. It shows a good sign. And Undang-Undang Perbankan Syariah was enacted in 2008, which is to declare a dual banking system in Indonesia, which is the conventional banking system and also the Sharia banking system. So while that, how this Islamic banking operate? Bank Muamalat Indonesia has been established since 1991. At that time, it was first studied by Majlis Ulama Indonesia and finally started its operation on the 1st May of 1992. It survived during the Asian financial crisis in 1998 until 1999. The survival put trust for the government to build another Islamic banking, which is Bank Syariah Mandiri in 1999. Bank Muamalat Indonesia operated first using the Law Number 7 of 1992, which highlighted the regulations regarding banking. Then the law was amended by Law Number 10 of 1998, which gave the full guidelines regarding Sharia banking. After it has been introduced, any conventional banks that are wishing to operate with the law need to open another branch or sub-branches. Both conventional and Islamic system cannot be operated at the same time. Later in 2008, the House of Representatives passed Law Number 21 of 2008 on Islamic banking with government support. This law is made up of 70 articles and it is divided into 13 parts. Generally, the Sharia banking law structure is identical to the national banking law. The new areas governed in this law have to do with corporate governance, prudential principles, risk management, dispute resolution, fatwa authority, and Islamic Banking Committee, and also guidelines and regulation of Islamic banking. Today, it is supervised by the Financial Services Authority (OJK) and needs to always comply with the mandates of Law Number 21 of 2011 of Financial Services Authority (FSA).
My name is Fahmi. So today I want to share to all of you the history and development of Bank Muamalat Indonesia. Bank Muamalat Indonesia, they start their business as the first Sharia bank in Indonesia was on November 1, 1991. And then the establishment of Bank Muamalat Indonesia, we call it BMI, was initiated by Indonesian Ulama Council. And then a Muslim businessman who subsequently received support from the government of the Republic of Indonesia since officially operating on 1 May 1992. So the best thing is we have a Muslim businessman that support BMI. So BMI continues to innovate and produce Sharia financial products such as Sharia insurance, takaful insurance, such as Financial Institution Pension Fund Muamalat, we call it DPLK Muamalat, and then also multi-finance Sharia. And then until now, BMI, they have 325 service office, including one in Malaysia. Business strategy. So BMI, they have their mission and vision. And do you know what BMI call? They want to be the best Islamic bank and the top 10 bank in Indonesia with a strong strategy. Okay, sir. Thank you.
So next, I will show to you guys the governance structure of Bank Muamalat Indonesia. So they have few frontliners for this bank, which is Sharia Supervisory Board, Board of Commissioners, and also Board of Directors. They have a few more committee regarding the audit, nomination and remuneration, corporate governance, and integrated governance, risk oversight, and organizational structure. Do Islamic financial institutions really need to have this Sharia governance? The answer is yes. This is because the Sharia governance will help the Islamic financial institutions or IFS to fulfill with Sharia requirement. So, who will lead the Sharia governance? The answer is the Sharia board. The Sharia board is a board that in charge to help the institution to manage and run the Sharia governance. So what do? They set regulations according to the Sharia, control mechanisms to guide the institutions, and also giving any opinions for the institution's improvements. So, in Bank Muamalat Indonesia, the Sharia board is called Sharia Supervisory Board. This board actually plays a very important role to make sure that the institutions will always be on the right path according to the Sharia. So, they always review the standard operational procedures yearly, which means any changes need to be reviewed first by them. Next, they also do the monthly meeting among the three members to discuss any improvements and solve problems regarding the current served services. Next, they also do the assessment and supervision at all the branches at all the provinces in Indonesia to make sure that all these banks do the same operations according to the SOP. Lastly, any decision regarding services need to be approved first by the National Sharia Council of Majlis Ulama Indonesia, which means any improvement or any changes must be referred first by the National Sharia Council to make sure that it is still following and comply with the Sharia. Recently, BMI has just done their annual grand meeting and they have decided to change the members of Sharia Supervisory Board. So here are the new Sharia Supervisory Board, which consists of 2 persons. These are all the commissioners and these are all the directors that manage the operation of BMI. So here are the organizational structure of the BMI itself.
The main purpose of Islamic banking system is to reshape financial services and product in the mold of Islamic principle so that it can accomplish the requirements and demands of the consumer, especially the ones who are seriously consider the religious restriction such as taking the riba, gharar, masir, and etc. And that is why there are a lot of Sharia principles that has been conducted through this bank, which is such as the principle of wadi'ah, the deposit, mudarabah, profit sharing, buy and sell, musyarakah, equity sharing, murabahah, cost plus, and ijarah, the rent, and etc. But in this topic, I would like to highlight the two principles that we conducted in these banks, which is al-ijarah and wadi'ah. Okay, first let me take a look on al-ijarah, which is the rent. Al-ijarah is actually the benefit or use of an asset that is transferred by the owner to the lessee at an agreed price or rental amount for an agreed period of time as stated in the agreement. Okay. This application of al-ijara is clearly shown by the contract of ijarah muttakhiyah bitalik contract. Okay, next, moving on to the al-wadi'ah concept, which is the deposit. Al-wadi'ah is actually a contract between two parties where the first party entrusts an item to the second party. It's like when you have an asset and you entrust them to the institution such as the bank to take care of it while you being away, or you have to be somewhere else and you have someone to take care of your item. And this application is actually has been used in Islamic principle because it does not have maturity date and you can withdraw your asset whenever you want it to be, and it is very convenient for you. Okay, that is all from me. Thank you.
Financial statement in Bank Muamalat Indonesia. There are differences of doing and reporting the financial statements in Islamic banking and also the conventional banking. Why does these differences occurs? This is because both two banking systems operates different types of services. In result, it will make some different or many difference of elements or accounts throughout all the transaction by all the system or services offered by this different banking system. So, actually, there are various Islamic banking format of reporting. So, in Indonesia, for Bank Muamalat Indonesia, it follows the standards and the guidelines by Indonesian Institute of Accountants, and after reviewing the financial statements from the annual report of Bank Muamalat Indonesia 2018, they state all the elements that are required and follows the format. Actually, there are three formats or three sets of formats that are prepared by this IAI, so that all the financial statements follow the Indonesian FAS format. Last but not least, this financial statement is endorsed by the Sharia Supervisory Board, which means all the transactions that are done within this 1 year is completely according and complied to the Sharia.
The next topic is asset and liability management of Bank Muamalat Indonesia. How Bank Muamalat Indonesia maintain their asset and liability. The main function of treasury in managing the asset and liability is liquidity. The manager have carried out the following activity and initiative for Bank Muamalat Indonesia to make sure that the liquidity of the asset is stable and improved. The liquidity can be maintained at good liquidity level by fulfillment of few analyses such as statutory reserve, liquidity buffer ratio, microprudential, and backup liquidity for current need for daily cash in the branch office. Next, excess liquidity is managed as secondary reserve liquidity on the investment portfolio through placement at the low risk and moderate investment instrument. Some of the low risk investment instruments are also available at Amanat Bank Indonesia Syariah, and Bank Indonesia Sukuk, while the moderate risk investment instruments are available at the Interbank Mudarabah Investment Certificate. Third, it can be managed by the medium term note. Medium term note issue Bank Muamalat Indonesia and still outstanding. Until today, it is worth 100 billion rupiah Islamic medium term notes, and medium term note subordinate Syariah worth 100 billion rupiah also. Asset liability commit is the another management strategy based on the annual report of Bank Muamalat Indonesia in 2018. Asset liability committee have been conduct discussion about particular issue related to internal condition such as inflation rate, exchange rate, foreign exchange reserve.
Hello, my name is Raisa and I want to explain about risk management. Some risks found on Mutanakisa financing, which is the risk of customer failure to carry out his obligations, risk of increasing or fluctuating in financing prices, and risk of unfamiliarity between the bank and the customer asset ownership. The process of risk management in Bank Muamalat Indonesia is carried out in 5 phases. The first one is determining context. Bank Muamalat Indonesia at the stage of determining the context by using financing guidelines as a benchmark to do financing and risk management. Second is identifying risk. Risk identification is done by identifying types of risks. The risks are follows: risk of customer failure to fulfill the obligation, the risk of price hike or financing fluctuation, and the risk of unfamiliarity between the bank and customers in asset ownership. The third is analyze the risk. Analyzing the risk by performing the risk calculation, frequency of occurrence, analyzing the customer, and also the losses. The fourth is controlling and manage. The risk involved in the financing of Mutanakisa will be controlled to reduce the risk and managing each risk carefully. And the last is evaluation. Meetings are done each month to evaluate the risk involved by monitoring the process and implementation to control the risk. Correct and suitable risk management should reduce the risk.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we all can see now, here are the financial performance highlights of Bank Muamalat Indonesia from 2015 to 2019. And these highlights we got from the annual report 2019. There are a few things that we can see here regarding the total asset. The total assets are decreasing. The total liabilities are also decreasing. It might be showing a good signal. However, we can see that the net profit are also decreasing badly, and these are some graphics or chart that can show their performance regarding asset growth decreasing, their financing are also so much decreasing. However, third party funding are also decreasing, but their equity growth chart increase a little bit. And so, ladies and gentlemen, as before we have seen, their financial performance are actually decreasing badly. As said here, Muamalat is breakdown with bad assets as non-performing financing (NPF) soared to 4.64% in last year's third quarter, nearing the unhealthy level of 5%. Bad loans surged over the course of a year as the NPF stood at 2.5% in the third quarter of 2018. We will change our business model to focus more on retail, Ahmad said, adding that Bank Muamalat's business so far had been mostly in the corporate segment, which accounted for 65% of the lender's financing. We hope that this Islamic Bank of Bank Muamalat Indonesia could survive and show a positive performance in the future. As we all know now that BMI has served the society for almost 40 years, and we are sure that it has been going through ups and downs so many times, and these few years back I'm sure that BMI are struggling to improve their financial performance. However, we think, and in our perspective, that BMI has contributed a lot to the society as the first Sharia compliance banking system and also as the first Islamic bank in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our presentation. We hope that BMI could improve more in the future. In our opinion, if all these Islamic banking institutions could collaborate more, we are sure that our Islamic banking system around the world will grow better as all of us will help each other. That's all from us. Thank you.